Previously on Weather the Storm.
All right, guys, so looking at the latest here, I think we have a really good opportunity to get in some large hail. The Storm Prediction Center has already issued an enhanced risk for large hail, and they're saying hail larger than 2 inch in diameter is possible. I'm looking at the latest surface observations here. You can see we have this low pressure system that's anchored up in South Dakota with a trailing trough and a cold front going through Nebraska right now. This means we could have an opportunity to get this Atlas shingle and some very damaging hail in the state of Nebraska today. This is a perfect setup for really big hail. I think we need to hit the road and get to Nebraska as soon as we can.
Storm chaser Derek Klein is the owner of Hail Trace Technology, a company that excels in weather forensics.
Really starting to rotate here.
He has over 20 years of storm chasing experience, including covering over 400 tornadoes and more than 10 hurricanes.
Hang on.
Atlas Roofing is a manufacturer of building products for the past 40 years. In this 7-part series, Hail Trace teams up with Atlas to find out if their Storm Master shingles can truly weather the storm. Let's introduce the team.
I'm Derek Klein, CEO of Hail Trace. I founded Hail Trace back in 2010. Really, I founded it because I like to chase storms a lot, and I thought I could chase storms and make money at the same time.
My name is Paul Casari. Been with Atlas for about 10 years. I'm the Director of Product Management and Business Development. I thought that was laminated at first, and I'm like, oh shit, this might not work.
I'm Allie Burt. I'm the Executive Assistant at Hail Trace. I also do all the photo and video stuff. I'm kind of Jill of all trades. Whatever needs to be done, I will do.
Chris White. I'm a meteorologist here at Hail Trace. Myself, I just like to drive fast and get out to where we're wanting to go. Can't stand sitting still.
My name is John Choquette, and I'm the lead meteorologist here at Hail Trace. I'm a little bit of an adrenaline junkie, so obviously when things get really crazy, it can be pretty fun, but overall it's just being in awe of seeing crazy weather and being able to experience it firsthand and be in the middle of it.
Yeah, so it was the end of May. We looked at the models and it looked like we tend to call it the day before the day, which is a little impulse we'll kick out in the atmosphere and kind of set off really, really good instability because there's not a lot of storms in the atmosphere. We actually picked a target in Nebraska for the first day. Ended up being about an 8-hour drive to get to that target. We're talking northern Nebraska from Oklahoma City, so we're driving all the way across the state of Nebraska.
So we argued a little bit about where to go, not to go, and everything like that. Then we ended up driving back into the sand hills and all like that once we get up there, because we realized our original target that day was definitely a little too far north and east of where we needed to be. Like I said, everything kind of retrograded back to the west a little bit. And we sit there and it takes forever for stuff to get there. We couldn't believe we got there and no storms had formed yet. And we was expecting to get there and be storms on the ground going, and we're waiting. And it's like no watches are out, nothing is going on, no one's talking about, hey, the potential's still there or anything like that. I'm sitting there and nothing's still going on, and it was just like, well, I guess this is not gonna happen today up here, you know, it's the way it goes sometimes. Kind of hungry, and we're like, man, we can't leave. It's kind of the hour of power right now. We're all tired now, you know, nothing's happening. And we're like, well, I guess we'll just wait till tomorrow. Let's not leave here just in case. You know, something still might happen and all. And we all take naps. We took an hour nap, which is highly unheard of, you know, in chasing. You know, you don't have downtime like that chasing usually.
Well, in storm chasing, we're playing against, you know, we're on offense, but the defender we're going up against is nighttime.
Right.
You know, because we can't see anything after it gets dark. You know, the sun sets when the sun sets. We can't do anything about it. And so, you know, when it's 7 o'clock, you're like, we have 2 hours left. When it's 8 o'clock, we have 1 hour left. And remember, we just drove 8 hours. We've been sitting in the truck now for over 4 hours. We watch these storms start to go up, and it keeps getting taller and taller. And on radar, we use what's called dual pole radar. And it's one of the reasons why we decided to pivot from having, like, we have to have somebody that's focused on the radar. It can't be navigating radar and driving. It just doesn't work because there's so much detail in the radar that you can't pick up unless you're really analyzing it well. So we have this dual pole, and so I have these 4 panels up on the radar showing me different aspects of this thunderstorm. And it starts to show some things that say, hey, this is not producing quarter-size hail anymore. And you never really know until you get in it, but the radar is telling me, even though the National Weather Service has said quarter size hail, the radar is telling me I mean business now. I'm the storm that you thought you were going to see when you went out today. I've tapped into this massive amount of instability that's in the atmosphere today, and I mean business now.
Oh, nice.
By looking that through, we say, all right, let's drive into it. Let's see what this thing has. Now, unfortunately, one of the aspects that makes it really difficult, because we want to do research on shingles as well. But unfortunately, the way that the storm tracked, we drove into the storm didn't come over us. And so that's one of the harder parts about doing the research is, do you want to get out when the hail's falling and slide this roof out into the, a softball to the head doesn't feel very good. So obviously in this particular case, we weren't able to get out and do any research, which it would have been a really, really good storm to do that with. But just timing, makes it extremely difficult. But the radar was not wrong. We drive into this storm and
we happen to be on a good road, on a poor road network place, and the storm came right across a good road for us and everything like that.
Yeah, and the way that this day set up, we had 2 opportunities to intercept this storm because of, there was a road there, but there wasn't another road for a very long stretch, and so you have to take them where you can get them, and so we decided to intercept this, and we thought we would have time to intercept it again on the next road that it would cross by still being in that. And so we core punched it, and core punching is when we go right into the center of the storm, like the worst part of the storm where you can't see anything sometimes, the wind can be really strong, the biggest hail is. Really outside of a tornado would be the worst part of the storm. So we go to core punch it, and the radar says, and I think it was warned for quarter size hail or something.
Yeah, quarters are golf balls. Yeah, it wasn't as big.
They
weren't
was
saying
small.
baseballs yet.
Yeah, it was real small, and all the storm chasers had stopped. There's a lot of storm chasers out at the same time that we are, and they were all pulled off the road before the core. They were watching the wall cloud and staying out of the nasty weather, and we're like, let's go see what this thing's got in it. It could have some bigger stuff in it. It was showing some signs that maybe there might be some really big hail. So we go into it, and sure enough, like a base, like I think it was like 3.5 inch was the first time we went through. It was like 3.5, so bigger than baseball size hail, and just thunk right on the hood of the truck, and we're like, whoa, okay, yeah, this is good. This is big hail. We relay into the National Weather Service, which that's always kind of, if you want a rewarding part of the job, you get to relay this in, and they get to update the warning from quarter size hail to baseball size hail to let the public know that, hey, this is a pretty mean storm now. And, it's 5, 6, 7 minutes of just getting pounded with anywhere from quarter to 3.5 inch hail. Just donk, donk. So we just finish up with baseball size hail. We're pretty excited, right?
Yeah.
But there's the way that the road grid worked, we had to drive back that 45 minutes that we went to get to it. We had to drive that entire 45 minutes and then catch back, because the storms don't have to follow roads, so they don't help us out any. So there's a gap in between this road, and we have to drive this big loop around to get there. So our next intercept of this baseball size producing hailstorm is an hour and a half away, and we're thinking, can we get there in time? Because the storm is going to take the path that it wants to take, the direct path. And we literally, we're driving north up the second road that we had to be on. Chris is driving north, and remember, this is the Chris that likes to pass traffic, and he's excited.
I'm all fired up and trying to get up there. I hate missing. When you're out there chasing, the worst thing you do is be on the storm and miss it. And you could be right next to the storm and miss it if you're not in the right position and all like that. So really, and like he said, the storm doesn't follow the road, so you got to drive faster, and they're going like 40 miles an hour. You better be going a lot faster than 40 miles an hour to keep up with them, because the roads are all like this.
We're not allowed to say how fast we got to keep up with them,
but but we kept up with it. And when we got into it the second time, it literally looked, I mean, it looked like the biggest snowflakes you've ever seen in your life falling out of the sky. I mean, you just see it, big bright white dots.
Yeah, because there wasn't like
Wow,
heavy
and
rain
then
or
when they-
anything. It was just like you could just see them like shattering on the
Yeah,
road.
and then when
It
they
was
hit,
crazy.
then you would realize how big they were. And you start seeing them bounce up out of the grass, and they'd bounce up like chest high. Then finally the storm finally moved away and everything, and pulled over and stopped and started walking off the road and looking into the grass, try to find something that hadn't broke and everything. And it was like, wow, look at these like ostrich eggs. And it was also so great because it was in a low populated area. I mean, so that was even better. It just ripped up the trees and everything. And but yeah, just finding these ostrich eggs, it was just like Easter on steroids.
There were only
So
2
great.
trees too, so.
Yeah.
Wait, I mean, I mean, this hill was 6.5 inch in diameter, maybe some bigger than that. And to put that into perspective, I think 47 states, that would be the state record.
Yeah, easily.
So that
yes.
never has been measured. Now, Nebraska, where we were at, they've had bigger hail. But Oklahoma, where we live, where we went to chase from, that would have been the Oklahoma state record.
Yeah.
Which was, it was always something that we wanted to chase, was like, can we get the state record hailstone? We did. We were in the wrong state, so it didn't count. But it's just crazy to think that the size of the hail and to think about the idea. Remember, the air has to support that hailstone. It has to hold it up, a mile up in the atmosphere. It has to hold it up there several miles up in the atmosphere, right? So the air to be flowing up strong enough to hold something that's that large and that heavy. I mean, these hailstones were probably, over a pound, maybe close to 2, probably not 2 pounds, but probably a pound and a quarter, pound and a half maybe. So these are massive, heavy things that are falling out of the sky at, by the time they reach down to us at over 100 miles per hour.
Derek.
Oh, just
Get in. Here.
oh man, that
Here's
one just
a-
hit me right on
here's
the
a roller.
shoulder. That hurt really bad.
So these hailstones, again, were 6.5 to almost 7 inches. So a softball is a little over 4 inches. So you think about, watching the softball World Series, where they're pitching and those balls are, the size of their hand. It was almost like, I think I have a picture of myself and I feel like I was almost holding a football because it had
It's like
kind of
the
a
size
weird,
of his head almost.
yeah, so like I'm holding it like I would hold a football. And they were all over the ground.
Yeah, that was kind of a fun thing to see because there was obviously other chasers. It almost felt like gold had fell from the sky and all these chasers were running around. I was like, I think I found a bigger one than you did. Like, no, I found a bigger one than you did. It literally felt like the skies opened up and there was just chunks of gold everywhere. All of these chasers running around and they're just giggling and it was just like a really weird, fun atmosphere. Like right after the storm was done and we went to go look for hailstones on the ground.
We do giggle a lot too.
You giggle a lot.
Particular storm, what was interesting about it, the largest hailstones happen really, really close to where tornadoes are also produced. Sometimes within a mile or less of where a tornado would be produced. But on this particular day, the wind shear, the amount of spin in the atmosphere was fairly low. And so the likelihood of a storm producing a tornado is very minimal. And as we're watching this storm evolve, we noticed that, we pick up on that fairly quickly that, hey, today we're not gonna see a tornado. This is a hail chase. There's 2 things that you could chase for this particular storm. You could try to get in the big hail. If you don't feel like destroying your vehicle, then you can look at it for the structure. They have really, really pretty, almost look like a flying saucer type structure to them. So they're absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous thunderstorms. But in this particular day, again, we're kind of adrenaline junkies, and we're also a company called Hail Trace. And so we wanted to see if we could destroy our vehicle. So we chose that path instead. And it's nice because we didn't have to worry about the tornado aspect of it. We can drive in and out wherever we want to go. We don't have to look over our shoulder and wonder if there's a tornado getting ready to touch down behind us while we're focused on the hail side of this storm. So we come north up the road and we did what we would call a hook slice. A hook slice is the storm has a hook, an appendage that comes out of the back side of it as that rotation pulls it around. So we did a hook slice, and as we went into that hook, again, right where that tornado, if it would have had a tornado, it would have been there, but we don't have to worry about that. that's where that large hail was right on the northern side of that hook slice. And oh, it was the most amazing thing that you will ever see. I remember looking down at the road. The road is not wet. So the road is completely dry, and there are chunks of ice falling out of the sky. Almost
Shattering like diamonds.
Yeah, like what you'd see, like there's the Day After Tomorrow movie, there's the scene where there's like these massive chunks. Now there weren't that many of them, but the size is pretty comparable to what was falling in that movie. So, you know, this make-believe natural disaster movie that this could never happen is actually happening in Nebraska, and we're driving through it in our vehicle. Thankfully, that actually didn't get any damage from it because we built it really well.
It's probably the biggest thing everyone at Hail Trace who storm chases does different than your average storm chaser is we actively get into hail. There are plenty of people that see our truck and they immediately are like, oh man, can we follow you? And you go, I mean, yeah, but you probably don't want to. So we really target hail. We use all the same techniques we use here at the office to create our hail maps to put ourselves in position to be basically in the purple swath of our Hail Trace maps, get ourselves right into where that biggest hail is going to form, and ideally being the big hail and seeing the tornado off to our south a little bit as well. That'd be always the best.
So when a hail impacts a roof, I get to see it from an interesting standpoint, and most of the time I am in the storm when it happens. So it's different than what most people get to see the after effect of a storm. And we're really honored to be able to partner with Atlas in this because we have a roof that we can roll out of the back of our truck and we can watch those impacts happen. So literally the point of measuring the size of every single hailstone, how impactful it is. Does it leave a mark? Does it do anything? How does its shingle react? Does it take the hit and then respond back with the, you know, kind of that rubbery feel where it kind of has like a rubber band where it reacts and comes back out? We can literally see that stuff in action. And so from that standpoint of being able to watch it, no matter where we are, if I'm in the middle of Nebraska or western Oklahoma where there is nothing for that storm to impact, we can roll out this Atlas shingle and we can see how well it performs in different types of hail. So we can see all the different ways that these hailstones impact a shingle and the effects that they have on them. And you know, this is something that we would never be able to see if it wasn't for Atlas taking that risk and saying, hey, we trust our product, let's do it.
Yeah, you guys do a great job of reviewing that during the storm. I mean, your firsthand action during the storm, you see the impact from a manufacturing standpoint, from a quality standpoint, durability standpoint. We're usually after the fact. We're measuring the energy that actually goes through the shingle and breaks out the back of the shingle, breaking the glass mat, and that's where you're gonna get your water leaks and those types of things. Your shingle's gonna fail. So, you know, you guys seen it firsthand with different sizes, how it bounces off, how it reacts, and then we go back and, you know, and we work with the homeowner, the contractor, to actually evaluate the shingle and see if there's actually any damage on the backside of it. Nothing is hail proof. Some of the catastrophic hail that you mentioned, the golf ball size hail, the bigger hail.
Baseball size hail! Oh! Almost got
The once in a lifetime hail, when that goes through your roof, that's not, you know, a shingle's not gonna stop that. But we offer class 4 rated shingles that are in the market today. And their class, you know, the rating class is for impact. And the highest impact rating class you can get is a class 4 shingle. So what we're trying to prevent is not the catastrophic hail, but we're trying to prevent the moderate size hail from actually transferring that energy through your shingle and breaking out the glass mat, and then that's where your shingle is going to fail, your shingle is going to leak. You know, a big thing in the insurance industry is deductibles. Right, these homeowners deductibles, because it's a huge liability with any of these storms. 2 or 3% of home value might be your deductible. It could be even higher than that. So if we have a product that can prevent you from actually going down that route and possibly prevent you from changing out your roof every time there's a storm, that's a real benefit to the homeowner. So I'm really proud in the direction that we take at Atlas. Everything that we do, we add a little bit of value to it. So we are not a me-too manufacturer. All of our shingles are different sizes for a number of reasons. All of our underlayments are a little bit different. Our hip and ridges modeled a little bit different. Our ventilation products aren't the same as everybody else's. So everything we do in the market, we actually give something back to the consumer and really trying to solve a problem. So we offer StormMaster Shake, which is a Class 4 impact rated shingle, and we use a polymer that we call Core 4 technology. We have a virgin polymer that goes into our asphalt that is really the science of our shingle. So we rated in 4 pillars of technology, which is Core 4. So we have Polycore, Thermocore, WeatherCore, and FlexCore all built into this technology. Polycore is just a science. It is a virgin-based proprietary polymer formulation that actually absorbs that energy, so you're not getting that transfer of energy and breaking out the glass mat. Then we have WeatherCore, which encompasses your Class 4 rating impacts and those types of things. Thermocore, if you can imagine, even on a sunny day and you're in Florida and your roof's at 160 degrees and a thunderstorm comes by and snaps your roof down to 70 degrees. Things move, right? So you don't want your granules to pop off and things that actually degrade your shingle. So that allows that shingle to actually move a little bit. There is some flexibility inside that polymer. If you pull it out and let it go, it snaps back like a rubber band, so it does move. And then for those cold weather climates, we also have the FlexCore also, so it stays pliable down to 0 degrees. So it has a Class 4 impact rating, which is the highest in the industry. It is great for thermal shock, which is huge with these thunderstorms and just daily movement of temperatures. And then we have flexibility for your cold weather application. The real benefit for a homeowner is that it gives the homeowner a little bit of a peace of mind that they can get through some of these weather events with not having to replace the roof. Because when you replace the roof, even if it's insurance paid, you still have those high deductibles, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 out of pocket depending on the side of your roof. And you have to pay that for your deductible to get it in, to get it replaced. So the real benefit there is to get you through some of those storms. Anything catastrophic, we all understand. If it goes through your sheathing or your car windshield, it's probably going to damage your roof. Okay, and that's just the way it is. But if you can get through some of the smaller events, that's really the peace of mind.
How can you tell a hailstorm is coming?
So a lot of the things that happen in a storm you can't actually see, but there are some things in a storm that you can notice to tell if a hailstorm is coming. So a lot of times the lighting can be an indicator of hail coming. So you might see kind of a blue teal or even a green hint to that storm cloud. Sometimes that can be an indicator. It doesn't mean that it's going to be really big hail, but it does say that there's light refracting off of something that's ice. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to make it to the ground or you're going to get hit, but if you see that color, a lot of times that means hail is on the way. Also, just a big storm coming can be something. If you're close enough, I don't know if most people want to get close enough, but one of the things, and this is probably one of my favorite things to happen when I'm storm chasing, and most people have never heard of it, is hail thunder. Okay, so what is hail thunder? Hail thunder is, you have to think about the chaos that's going on, right? Lots of movement is going on inside of that storm cloud with that lift, right, at 100 miles per hour. Those hailstones are just banging into each other, and it creates this almost like a jet engine roar. It sounds like a jet is flying over or like thunder, but the only way you can tell the difference is it never stops. So it's just a constant low roar, like it really sounds like a plane is flying over, but the plane never goes away.
In your opinion, what makes a good storm chaser?
To me, a good storm chaser is somebody that can keep their cool in a high stress situation. They're able to analyze something very quickly, to triangulate where they got to go and get into the best possible spot. And probably the most important thing is being not afraid to take a little bit of risk and get maybe a little too close to comfort for some people.
And now for a bit of frivolity. What is your favorite storm chasing snack?
Yeah, Derek, he's trying to eat healthy now, but that'll probably change whenever we start chasing again. He gets honey buns a lot. We have a lot of video of him coming out with honey buns, Mike and Ike's, Red Hots, and also if it's like a bus chase and he knows it's gonna be a bus chase, he'll go to Brahms and get ice cream. We've gotten ice cream a lot. He's like, we should just go get ice cream. I'm like, okay, well that means the chase is probably over.
It's kind of like getting broken up with your girlfriend. You gotta splurge afterwards. the disappointment. It's an iced honey bun, so even worse. It's got to be the ones with the white icing on it.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's a Monster Energy drink mixed in there too.
I think for me, I get a lot of Twix. I almost eat Twix on every single storm chase, I think. I like trying all the different flavors of Twix, so candy bars for me, for sure. The things that I get a lot on chases when I shouldn't.
Join us next time as we closely inspect the damaged shingles.
All right, Paul, so we just got back from a significant hail event out on the truck chasing these storms. We were able to get this deck out into the storm. And, you know, I don't really know what I'm looking for here. So how do we know that this has hail damage on it?
And learn how Atlas Stormmaster Shake products compare to other shingles on the market. On Weather the Storm.
I thought that was laminated at first, and I'm like, well, it's not my way.